Ladies and gentlemen, raise your celebratory cheeseburgers. That's right, I got myself a little cheeseburger to celebrate, and that's because I'm moving out. I got my own place. Let me give you guys the details. So, if you haven't seen my last video, go watch it. Basically, what happened? I almost got assaulted. I had to talk them down from assaulting me, and I'm getting kicked out. And they were gonna destroy all my shit. The only reason they didn't is because I hit it all. And I don't want to delve into the details of it too much, but living here hasn't been great. My living situation has not been fantastic. Maybe someday I'll talk about it more in detail, but I honestly just don't want to right now. But anyways, yeah, running this channel and running Talon and the Raven development team and everything like that over the last while has been challenging under these conditions. But then as of recently, it finally got to a point where they decided to kick me out. And that's kind of a recap of what I talked about in the last video. So let me go ahead and tell you what's happened since that last video. So like I mentioned, the options were military, which was a last resort, right? Enlisting in the military gives you stable housing, stable income. You know, you do your time. Oh, you do your time, you get out, and you get a ton of benefits and stuff like that, and they pay for education and stuff. So it's, you know, if it's definitely an option, but it is a last resort because obviously how would I be making videos and updating Talon and, you know, working on Raven stuff and all that? Like in the alternate project would even probably just come to a complete halt in the meantime because I need to be there for governance and stuff, and I'd be pretty unavailable. But that is the doom and gloom option. That's the last resort plan Z, right? The other options were I could move in with my friend, or I could move in with my grandpa, who I haven't actually talked to in quite a while. So I came back into contact with my grandpa, and the reason we fell out of contact is because my mother cut him out from our lives and told us not to talk to him anymore, made us block him on our phones, had us stop talking to him over some family drama crap. Honestly, I don't even know why she cut him off. He told me his side of the story, you know, but and again, I won't delve into that. But if his side of the story is true, then it was a severe overreaction. Um, but my grandpa and I were talking, and he was talking about, because he's an older man and everything like that. He was talking about having me come stay with him. But the issue is that he's living in a 55 plus apartment complex, so he would have to label me as his like living assistant or whatever, and that's fine. He just has to fill out paperwork and do all that stuff. And he was saying he'd look into it. He was, you know, trying to help me out. He was trying to get it done because he does. He cares about me, and I really appreciate my grandfather. He's done a lot for me. Um, but then that didn't work out because my mother sent him a quote vicious message end quote. Now, he wouldn't elaborate past that, but he called me on the phone and he told me that she sent him this vicious message, and he sounded very upset. Um, you know, he just honestly, I feel bad for him. And then he just said, you know, hey, I can't do this, man. I can't. You know, so that bridge was burnt. And then a little while after that phone call, it was only like 30 minutes after that phone call when we hung up, my mother texted me this: just to be clear, my dad is not welcome over here, so you'll need someone else to help you move. So they want me out of the house, but they also don't want me out of the house. um and then so this actually happened after one more thing though. So about a day before that happened, or I think it was the same day. This all happened a few days ago. I actually talked to my mother for the first time in weeks because this initial incident of them telling me I'm being kicked out and stuff happened like 2 weeks ago. But and you may be wondering actually, well, if it happened like 2 weeks ago, why didn't you get kicked out yet? I don't really know. I stayed in my room. I really never came downstairs. I was pure silent. I never really talked to them or anything. So I guess they just either forgot about me or just, you know, I was quiet enough where they didn't have to think about me for a while, so they gave me some grace, I guess. But anyways, so Before that happened with my grandfather, she sent the vicious message, I actually had a talk with my mother, and I told her, "Hey, I'm moving out." Like, because she already kicked me out, right? They already said they're kicking me out, but then 2 weeks had gone by, right? And so I just told her, "Hey, I actually have plans now to move myself out. So, I know you guys have been having me stay here for like a while extra, even after you said you're kicking me out. But like, hey, I just want to let you guys know that I have something figured out. It should be by next week." And they told me, she was like, "Oh, okay," and talked about it a bit and stuff. And then after that, that's when she sent him the vicious message or whatever. And then she sent me that text message. So now, an hour or so after she sent that text message, she also sent this. "One last thing. You said you're moving next week. So even if he changes his mind and doesn't come through, which is more than a possibility, I don't know what problem she has with him. You will still be moving next week. Where you go, like you said, is none of my business. But since you chose to do this, you will need to be moved up by end of next week. Good night." She sent me this at like 7 p.m., by the way. So another thing that was interesting, I know I got a couple of comments. You guys were talking about the legality of kicking me out, the way that they were trying to originally. And to my understanding, I'm no lawyer, but to my understanding, they need to provide me written notice of eviction. And I think the default, like, minimum time or whatever is 3 days in Texas. So I didn't have any kind of written notice of eviction until now. That text message, I'm pretty sure, you know, uh, qualifies as written notice of eviction because they're giving me a deadline saying by end of next week you need to be moved out. So my best route of going with my grandpa was burned, um, and I need to be gone by end of next week. I had already taken like the Ace Fab stuff, whatever, and I'm pretty much at the point where I'm ready to enlist, right? It seemed like it was going to have to be the option, and the reason why is because I was talking with my friend's parents and stuff about potentially moving in there, and because I don't actively have a job other than Raven right now, because employment is a fucking bitch and a half, especially when you don't have a car and you don't have transportation. In Texas, which by the way, we don't even have sidewalks or even crosswalks on intersections. The gas station right outside my neighborhood, you have to, at the intersection, there's no crosswalks. So you just have to wait until the cars stop and then pray. And so, the infrastructure here is very car dependent. So when you don't have a car, you basically can't get anywhere. And it would take like 2 hours to walk to work, 2 hours back if I tried to do it that way. It's just not realistic, right? So honestly, military was looking like the last resort until I thought about it and I submitted a community authorization request for the alternate funds. So if you guys remember, the community fundraised some money for the alternate project through cryptocurrency, and I converted it to something called USDC, which is a cryptocurrency. But anyways, it's one USDC is equivalent to $1 is kind of the whole point. Other than, unlike Bitcoin where it like goes all over the place and shit. I don't really know the terminology because I'm not like a crypto guy really, but they fundraise that money, and we use some of those funds sometimes for the alternate project, but I have to submit something called a community authorization request, per the governance structure that like we set up for the funds and stuff, so that I can't just use the funds willy nilly for whatever, right? I submitted this request to use some of these funds as emergency funds to keep my living situation sustainable so that I don't have to enlist in the military or whatever. And the reason why this is relevant to the alternate project is because if I'm not available, if I'm not in a stable living situation like that, then the alternate project halts, right? Because there's no governance, there's no leadership, there's no nothing like that, right? So how does the project would just fucking halt, and it would be halted for years if I did enlist, right? So in order to keep the project going without major delays and shit like that, I requested to use some of these funds I think right now the wallet or whatever has 43,700 in it, or 42,700 in it worth of this USDC. Um, and so with the community authorization request I submitted, it got approved by you guys. Thank you very much for that, by the way. I announced it on all our social medias and stuff like that, in the Discord and everything like that. People voted, and it passed. And so, thankfully, what that means is I now have some emergency funds at my disposal. Because honestly, I'll just be real with you guys. I was going broke. Raven makes some money, even through donations and stuff like that. Thankfully, thank you guys again. But it's not profitable, because anything starting out like this isn't going to be profitable yet, right? And we have crazy bills. We have, well, honestly, not that crazy bills compared to many other organizations. Raven's monthly bills is like 120, 150 bucks a month or something like that, to keep it running, just to, keep everything afloat. And that doesn't include like paying the members and stuff like that. So we since that got approved, how it'll work is this month I got $5,000. Next month I will get $3,000. Then the next 2 months after that, I will get $2,000. Now, the reason why it's not just a flat amount every single time is because I'm not supposed to depend on this money. Well, at least, not the whole time, right? The 5,000 at first is supposed to help me with living and put some of that money towards a vehicle and everything like that, get myself going. But then, it lowers itself as it goes on. So that way I get a, because I'll for this month I'm just focusing on trying to stay sustainable, but then I'm going to get a job. I'm going to be focusing on my driver's ed, getting a vehicle, stuff like that, and then slowly weaning off of it, kind of thing. If you get what I mean. So that way I'm not just relying on this money and being lazy. Um, that was kind of the whole idea with the weaning, the money going down as it goes on. Uh, so because of this, I actually had a new option. There's these websites, these services where people post pictures of their rooms, and you can rent a room out of someone's house. You have to go there and meet the person and see the room for yourself and stuff like that. But then after, you can actually negotiate and then rent a room from somebody. It's way cheaper than getting an apartment here. It's way cheaper than renting your own home and stuff like that here, and way less complex. So I found a place that's actually only a couple minutes away. It's in the same area and everything like that, and the rent is not actually that expensive. And I met the lady. She's a very nice lady. I'd get good privacy because the room is in the opposite side of the home from her. It's just her living there, kind of thing. And I'd have my room. I'd have access to internet and utilities. And I have to manage my own transportation. I have to buy my own groceries. But it's I'm having a place to live now. So this does mean that this will be the last time you guys see me in this room. So because by the time I end this video, I'm gonna be actually packing up, and she's gonna help me move and everything, help me load my stuff in the car, and then I'll be out. I'll be there. It's kind of crazy, this is where Raven started. So it's kind of, it feels strange to be leaving it, but uh, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Because seriously, military was, oh god, I would have fucking hated that. Um, I really do appreciate it. If you guys, I'll end the video off with this. And just one more thing, just this text exchange. When she said that, I laughed so hard. I literally just said, "Lol, okay." Yeah, this is what I was dealing with. That this is what I was dealing with. No parent should ever treat their child this way. That, yeah, that's all I'll say. Um, yeah. Thank you guys. I've told you guys I'm in this for the long haul, and I mean it. I don't want I don't want to have to depend on donations and depend on your guys' goodwill and stuff to be successful, to be able to sustain myself, because I feel like it's a cop out, right? I don't want you guys to have to make up for my failures. And I hate involving my personal life into stuff like this, really. Like I really don't like it. But in a time like this, you guys really help me out here. So I really appreciate you guys, sticking around and supporting me and stuff through this. Stuff's been hectic, stuff's been chaotic, lately. Like, I'll tell you this: Raven Vault has been delayed what, a million bazillion times. The Playing God documentary is in progress, by the way. The preview's coming out soon, but it's been delaying too, and it has not been easy running Raven under these conditions. But things should get a lot better now. Independence feels weird. Yeah, that's really about it.